All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this new episode of The Reality Kenya. We are in a new week, of course. This is the first show we are doing when Kenya is at 60.
Yes.
Of course, and Wakili is going to take us through what we have, what we still don't have as far as the country is concerned and the economy is concerned. And our guest, as usual, is the Deputy Party Leader of Safina Party, Honorable Wakili Willis Otieno Piki Ponki.
Pakamelo Disco.
Karibu sana.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
I'm very fine.
You're looking fresh and cool.
It's fresh and cool, but it is a painful time for the people of Kenya.
Sure.
You know, we are marking 60 years since independence.
Yeah.
And if you watched what was happening at Jamhuri Gardens, kids were burst into the gardens to cheer. Ruto is driving into the gardens.
Yeah.
Majority of Kenyans kept off those celebrations. They had nothing to celebrate. But we need to celebrate our country, despite the bad leadership that Kenya Kwanza has brought to us.
Yeah.
The economic plan has failed, and there is too much pain on the people of Kenya.
Yeah.
And if you look at the totality of everything, the Central Bank of Kenya governor said, the CS Treasury said that the country is broke.
It's broke, yeah.
And then we witness the president saying the economy is now stable and we've moved away from debt distress.
Yeah.
I've always said debt distress is approaching. It is staring us in the eye.
Yeah.
It will not go away because someone has said it. It will only go away if we have cogent economic policies that transcends and transforms this economy. So far, in my view, Kenya Kwanza has not given us an economic plan, in my view, that can overcome the impending debt distress or default.
Yeah.
Ethiopia, just the other day, IMF moved in 2 months ago, and they told us how everything is now going to work.
Yeah.
Last week, the finance minister said they are going to default on some of their domestic debt. So IMF coming in does not in any way cushion you from a debt default or a debt distress. You have to look at what is your economic plan, what's the economic policy, and how are you going to address the issue of debt. And Safina Party is the only party that has come out to say, our debt is odious, declare it odious, don't pay for it, only pay for legitimate debt.
Yeah.
And that will cushion the people. There may be pain at the point of declaration of odious, but we will get a breather in terms of we will have no obligation to pay for a debt which is illegal, which is odious.
Yeah.
You look at even what KRA was saying, and that they are now collecting more than 1 trillion shillings.
Yes.
At the same time, counties are not receiving their money.
Yes.
Parliament is not receiving its money. CDF has not been disbursed to members of Parliament.
Yeah.
They almost went on strike, so to speak, last week.
In Parliament.
In Parliament, they say that they will not go on recess until they are paid.
Yeah.
Until today, they have not been paid that CDF disbursement. Now, if you have priority institutions not receiving their money, and on the one hand, you have the president telling you that we are raised our revenue, we are doing very well economically. If you have all that money, why don't you give it to Parliament for CDF? Yeah. Why don't you pay the salaries? The CS Treasury was saying how they're struggling to pay salaries. So if you have all this money, how comes you are not meeting your obligations in time? Why are counties complaining? What I can say is that what KRA projected as the 1 trillion target include what they received and collectibles, penalties, interest. It does not mean that they have the money in the bank.
Yeah.
When they raise a tax invoice on you, penalties, interest, those are what in general terms are called collectibles. And you cannot use collectibles to try to doing Kenyans that you've raised the 1 trillion, breached the 1 trillion mark. You should be able to tell us exactly money in the bank.
So that is
how much
definitely
have you collected?
what they have on paper.
Those they have on paper, that is collectibles.
Yes.
That includes what is received, interests, penalties, tax assessments. Those are collectibles.
Yeah.
Does not mean that is money in the bank.
Yes.
And that's different. Kwa ground vitu ni different. And they should tell us. So you should not try to create a rosy picture of the state of the economy.
Yeah.
If it is doing bad, the people of Kenya can see it for themselves, that this economy is doing bad.
Yeah.
And they're feeling the pain of this economy. So trying to speak about it in public, you are not try to wish it away. You will not convince us that it is good if it is bad. if the economy is good, we will be the ones to
feel it and
trumpet
say
it, because we'll be feeling it. We'll say it. We'll be now making the loudest noises that the economy is stable. We are feeling the flow of money. We have sufficient funds in our pockets. As it is today, that is not happening. So how then do you run a country based on economic lies? Just face the reality on the ground. This economy is in a recession.
Yeah.
It's retrogressing. The cost of goods and services keeps going up every day. At the same time, people are losing incomes. The earning capacity of people is going down. More and more people are losing their jobs.
Yeah.
Many Kenyans don't have access to salaries or even any meaningful earning. So in that kind of circumstances, you cannot tell us that the economy is doing well. Because the basic fundamentals of a functioning economy have failed in this particular instance. And that is Kenya Kwanza for you.
And what do you think about this double speak, whereby the president is saying this, his minister is saying this? What picture does it give?
It is intentional. It is intentional. It is intentional to create a subterfuge that you are not able to tell exactly what the truth is.
Yes.
So it's meant to confuse you, wow and confuse. Yeah, what they call the awe and shock. So you'll never, within what all of them are saying, you'll never know the truth. But unfortunately, the truth lies with Kenyans. Because it's Kenyans who ultimately makes a determination of what is truthful and what is functional. What is in their pockets? Are they able to access basic goods and services with what they earn? Are they able to access employment opportunities? Are they able to meet their basic needs as a people? Are they able to get employment opportunities? Are they able to get markets for their goods and services? That, the answer is out there. Every Kenyan who is out here, an adult, trying to participate in this economy, will tell you the challenges we are facing. Everybody is facing an increased cost of goods and services. The same government is increasing the cost of everything. Even now, to change your motor vehicle car lights, move from 500 shillings to 20,000 Kenya shillings.
Exactly.
What I always said is that what is assured out of Kenya Kwanza is that the price of any good service that the government provides, or the amount of any tax payable, will always go up.
That is a surety.
That's a surety. Nothing will ever go down with Kenya Kwanza, because they are struggling to collect more revenue. At the same time, as they're trying to collect more revenue, their debt stock keeps increasing. The shilling is losing value. Because they're borrowing more. They're illegally borrowing from the domestic market. They're taking certain foreign loans illegally without parliamentary approval. So the debt stock is going up. The shilling keeps losing value. And I told you last time, every time the shilling loses value to the dollar by 1 unit, in your debt book you add 40 billion Kenya shillings. And just on the currency fluctuations alone, our debt book has increased by 2 trillion just by fluctuation since Ruto came to power.
For the first 1 year.
It has increased just by fluctuation alone.
Apart from what we are supposed to pay.
Even what you had, you've taken.
Yes.
Just by currency fluctuations alone. Because every time the shilling loses value to the dollar, in your debt book, write 40 billion. And it keeps going up. Right? That is why it is important when you are sitting at an executive level. Your policies should be one that does not weaken your shilling. Because remember, when your shilling is losing value, it has an impact, a direct impact, for example, on your debt stock. So you are going to collect more Kenya shillings than you needed to collect to pay for this debt. Because your revenue is in Kenya shillings, not in dollars.
But your
debt, most of it, you are paying in dollars. So in your debt book, it just changes by that alone. So that is why I say Kenya Kwanza has totally failed to address debt problems in this country. The economic plan has failed, and next year Kenyans should brace themselves for economic turmoil caused by a failing Kenya Kwanza regime.
So what we expect next year is likely to be worse than what we have experienced for the past 1 year.
It will be worse.
But they keep giving us hope and hope and
They've given us. Tell me one thing that Kenya Kwanza has ever said that came out to be true.
Definitely none.
So there's no promise that they've ever delivered on. Right? So what else? What other sign do you need? Because everything they've said, the opposite has happened. So I always invite my friends and team Piki Ponki. If you want to plan your life or your business accordingly, If Kenya Kwanza says A, plan with B, the opposite. Know that the B will happen.
Yes.
Because every promise they've made,
Yeah.
there is no promise they have delivered.
Yeah.
And you can go down the entire list.
Since the campaign.
Since they, up to now, there's nothing they have said that has happened as they said it. So, for you to be well organized, when you hear them say, look at what is the opposite, then plan with the opposite.
That is what is likely.
That is what is likely to happen. And your life will be much better. You will even be more cushioned.
But if you look at recently, the controller of budget also had issues with the government. And some people termed it political, some were thinking that it was the constitutional way. In your own view as a lawyer and an advocate, and also someone who has been in politics, you know the dynamics. What do you think
of course
the
it's
picture portrays?
It's political. If you look at the kind of charges that the controller of budget was being faced with, those are very flimsy charges. That you're operating a SACCO without a license.
Yes.
And she's not a principal officer of that SACCO. So you go for the principal officers of the SACCO. Why arrest her in Nairobi, then you drag her to Mombasa to face the charges? Where are the other 9 accused persons? Because in the church there are 10 other people. So it means it was okay, you could take time to get the other 9, but this particular one, you have to drag her from Nairobi and take her to Mombasa. And we have so many courts in Nairobi. We have courts in Machakos, we have courts in Makueni, we have courts in Taita Taveta, we have courts in Kwale. Why Mombasa? Why do you have to take her all that way? It was just part of political harassment. It is to bear pressure on her because she has actually affirmed what we always say. The controller of budget has affirmed that there's a problem with our debt books, our debt stock. We've used our debt, we've taken debt to pay for recurrent expenditure, which is unlawful. That is what Team Safina we call odious debt. Our laws don't allow for borrowing for recurrent expenditure. Number 2, some of those debts have been taken without parliamentary approval. In our laws, we only take a debt when parliament has approved, and it can only be for an identified project. So the controller of budget has been speaking what us as we've been talking about, the truth of the matter for the past 2 years. So of course it's making some people uncomfortable. She's raised questions of how the budget looks, where some of the expenditures in the budget are not what's happening on the ground. She said herself and some other state officers, their salaries are inflated in the budget books by three times more than what they actually receive. So where does this money go? Now these are questions that we've raised. And of course this makes some people uncomfortable. Hence you are seeing the kind of harassment she's being taken through. But it will all come to an end. Yes, everything has a lifespan. And Kenya Kwanza has a lifespan as well. And the people of Kenya will deal with Kenya Kwanza at the right time. Yes.
How can you describe the past 60 years of our existence as an independent country?
As an independent country,
today,
the past 60 years has been years of struggle. Many Kenyans have given their lives, fought for the freedoms that we enjoy today, political freedoms we enjoy today. And I can say that we must celebrate those Kenyans. If I noticed, Ruto did not even mention the independent heroes, the people who fought for this country to be politically liberated. And that was quite unfortunate. Jamhuri Day is about celebrating those who fought for the political independence that we got from the colonialists. I pay homage to those our heroes, Jomo Kenyatta, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Bildad Kagia, Kungu Karumba, Paul Ngei, Ojijo Teko, Harry Thuku, Dedan Kimathi. All those independent heroes who fought for this country to be free. Mekatilili Wamenza, Tom Mboya, Chieng' Oneko. The list is endless of Kenyans who fought and gave their all for this country to be free. Jamhuri Day is a day to celebrate them because it was because of their struggle, it was because of their pain that this country got political independence from the British. And that is their day. It is not a day for you to parade children and make them sing your praises, chant your name, to praise you. You are turning out to be now someone who wants self-praise. You are looking for, you on an ego trip. You are looking for kids to validate you as a leader. That is a day meant for the heroes who struggle for our independence. We can deal with those other issues of self-praise on another day, not on a day when we dedicate it to those who, and some of them gave their lives. They paid the ultimate price for this country to be free. That is their day. We are now on a new liberation. It's the economic liberation of this country. And as Team Safina, we believe that we are the ones who will liberate this country from the economic turmoil that we've been going through. It is time that now we focus on the economic rights of our people. We've now gotten political independence. We now also must get economic independence. These second generation human rights are the most fundamental and the most important after the political rights. Because without money in your pocket, without food in your stomach, without access to quality healthcare, then life becomes meaningless. Your political rights gets eroded. So it is time now for Kenyans to move and join this struggle and this fight for the economic liberation of this country. This will be the final liberation of this country, and it becomes a country that responds to the economic needs of its people. And we say, Team Safina, Team Jimmy Willie is the team that will lead this fight for the economic emancipation of our people.
Wow.
Team Piki Piki Ponki, we are strong.
Wow.
We are the ones to do this delivery.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Naibu.
you.
To everyone who has been watching, thank you so much. Keep sharing with your friends. The team is growing bigger and better each and every day, and we are so grateful for the past 1 year that we've been doing this. We are so grateful, and we celebrate you each and every day. May God bless you and have a blessed and amazing festive season. Keep tuning in, keep sharing with your friends. Bye-bye.